close the doors.
When I tell you that these preachers are scammers, modern day scammers, y'all don't want to believe me. But listen to this.
Pastor Marvin Sapp lead.
Good morning, people.
Simple and Neat Balenciaga on the beat.
Watch out what I go on here, so. Morning, everybody. Good morning. How y'all doing this morning? Morning, people. It's another day, another morning. We're going to get into it again. We're going to get into it again this morning. Yeah, we're going to do what we do at this time of the morning. On a city good morning sunrise, there is the morning sunrise with a little piece of banana moon sticking out. I appreciate you all. I thank you all so much for coming. I thank you all so much for your kind support on my channel. Yes, this we have resumed the reading of the Bible, and it's going as well as can be expected. Let's just say that. For those of you though who are new here, those of you who haven't those of you who are new here, those of you who are just discovering, those of you who are just wondering this morning, where have you landed? What side of the internet have you landed this morning? You have landed on the channel of Trev from Trevessence. If you're on the tube, that's where you are at. And if you're on the talk, that's where you are at. Okay? So this morning we are going to be continuing with the reading of the Bible. But please note, my friends, that when you come over here, please know that I don't endorse religion, I don't endorse denomination. I do read the Bible because I feel like I have a personal obligation to read it because it was presented to me as my moral guide. And any book that is presented to you as your moral guide or your policy guide, I believe you need to read it. You need to be aware of its contents. If you go to school, you are in math class, you have a textbook and you never open the textbook or you never read the textbook. How in the world you expect to pass the class? Unless you're a genius. And if you're a genius, maybe you don't belong there. So with that in mind, I have decided to read the Bible. This is actually my third go round, but now I am reading it randomly, if you will. I am reading the books randomly. I'm not going in order anymore, even though we know that the events of the Bible are not put together in order in the Bible, because these stories that are in the Bible were collected from ancient Jewish writings of long ago. So that's why you find that it's sort of mixed up. And oftentimes when you are reading in one book, the story maybe a connecting story may have come 10 books prior. That's why I say all the time, people got to read the Bible. At least if you call yourself a Christian and you claim that the Bible is your guide, I believe that at least once in your lifetime, morning, lovely people, I didn't even see you all. Morning. I believe that if you are a Christian, you call yourself such, at least one time in your life, you need to read the Bible. If it's even one time in your lifetime, you need to read it from the beginning to the end. Religion is very contentious. People get upset when they discover that you don't share the same religious views as them. People get upset. People want to call you devil. They want to call you heathen. They want to do all of that. And these are the same people who want to tell you that they are Christians and that love is their language. And I say, whenever I see people extend that kind of love, I just keep going because I know that if you have read the Bible, you would understand why that kind of love is what is extended the most in the Bible. Yeah, said what I said. We started reading the book of Jeremiah a few days ago, and today we are going to continue with the reading of the book of Jeremiah and just a little bit of a recap for those of you who have been here as we have read the book of as we have been reading the book of Jeremiah. Now Jeremiah, at the time when Jeremiah rose to prominence, I should say, when Jeremiah rose to prominence, Israel was dismantled, so to speak. You know, a lot of the people had moved away, they had gone to different countries. It, the doctrine in Israel was not as strong at that time as it used to be. People moved away, people abandoned the doctrine for various reasons. And so the dominance that Israel had in the region at the time, prior to Jeremiah, was no longer there at the time when Jeremiah rose to prominence. So Jeremiah, it said God told him that he was going to charge him with the duty of preaching to the people and encouraging them to return. Georgia, good morning, love bug. How are you, sugar? So Jeremiah said God told him that he was going to be charged with the responsibility of encouraging the people to come back to Jerusalem, come back to rebuild the city. In the same breath, he said God told him that he was so angry at the people of all the things that the people could have done to him. The worst thing they did was made sacrifices and burned incenses to Baal, to the god Baal. And he was so angry, but he wanted the people to come back because he had punishment in store for them. He was going to make them die by famine, by pestilence, and by the sword. He was going to make the women, lots of the women, or he was going to make them into widows. He was going to make their children die. And he was going to punish them so severely. He was going to allow them to die in the street and there be nobody to bury them. He's going to make the dogs drag their dead bodies and the crows eat them and the wild beasts and all of this gory stuff that Jeremiah said God told him. Jeremiah also went on to say that God told him that all the prophets before him, were liars. God told him that he had never sent those people. Those people came and told lies in his name. And he was angry about that too because of these lies that these people had told, that these prophets had told the people. The people had acted according to those lies, but he never sent those earlier prophets. And it brought into my mind the question. Jeremiah specifically named Moses and Samuel. And the question that comes to my mind is, if I'm supposed to believe that Jeremiah, as people proclaim that Jeremiah is one of the greatest prophets and whatever, if you listen to modern day Christians, they will say Jeremiah is one of the greatest prophets and stuff. All right, so after having read the book of Jeremiah, this is my thing. If I must believe that Jeremiah is the greatest, or one of the greatest, or even close to the greatest prophet that ever lived, then I have to believe that Moses was a liar. Now, hear me out. The two of them, Moses and Jeremiah, they both can't be speaking the truth according to the Bible. So it's either one, Jeremiah is lying, or Moses is lying, or they are both lying. Why I say that? Now, if Jeremiah says God has told him that Moses and the earlier prophets were not telling the truth, and I accept that to be true, that would mean that I would have to disregard every prophecy of Moses if I believe what Jeremiah said, that Moses was lying. Correct? Okay, I'm just being logical here. If I believe that Miss Kate, good morning, love bug. How are you doing, sugar? Oh, you're not feeling well. I hope you feel better, my love. I still have a little boo boo here, but yeah. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I hope you feel better, my love. Make you some medicine. Okay? Yeah, so as I was saying, my friends, if I am to believe that what Moses said God told him is true, everything that he said God told him was true, and I'm supposed to go by that, then I cannot believe Jeremiah that Moses is a liar. But if I believe that Jeremiah is the greatest and the most honest prophet that ever lived, then I will have to disregard what Moses said, because the two of them cannot exist with the same measure of veracity at all. It cannot be, because one would negate the other. So the two of them cannot be true. The two of them cannot be correct. So something is wrong. Don't ask Trev what it is, but something is wrong. Jeremiah has suddenly elevated himself to the highest order. He has elevated himself to being this great prophet. Say, God, tell him all of these things and stuff. And as we have been reading the book of Jeremiah, the people to whom Jeremiah is preaching, they are concerned like, where you come from. Remember, Jeremiah was just, Dervan, good morning. Remember, Jeremiah was just a little beggar, a little nobody. Jeremiah wasn't. It would be like you walking down the street and there is somebody who is, maybe you consider this person to be crazy, and suddenly this person starts preaching the word, and this person claims that he's talking to God, and all of a sudden he gets a following and people start believing him that he is indeed talking to God, and the things that he's saying, God really did tell him these things. But there are people who have doubts. So that's the same with Jeremiah. The people them have doubts. People ask him, where you get this all this power from? How come you are going to say the other people were lying and only you alone telling the truth? And you notice, everybody who question him end up getting. If I evaluate the situation, as I have done several times, I still come back with the same answer. Jeremiah had something to do with them people's death, but Jeremiah make it seem like, oh, is God do it? Because come on now, if Jeremiah is going to write the book, or is going to orchestrate the writing of this book about him, do you think he was gonna want to write something that's contrary to the narrative that he wants to push? Jeremiah's whole intention was to push this narrative that he was the greatest, he was the best, he's the only prophet that God spoke to, that God gave instruction. Everybody before him, during his time, and after him were gonna be liars. This whole idea of grandeur with Jeremiah is really questionable. And that is why I say I don't understand how people read the book of Jeremiah and still come away with the whole thing saying, oh, Jeremiah was the greatest prophet and Jeremiah was one of the most honest prophets. Jeremiah was not honest. There's no way you read the book of Jeremiah and say Jeremiah was an honest man. It couldn't be. And then on top of that, to move on to the next part of the story, Jeremiah says God told him to tell the people Nebuchadnezzar is going to come up. Nebuchadnezzar is going to destroy Israel, what's left of it, really. Now, this is after Jeremiah encouraged the people to come back, and say God told him to tell them to come back, come rebuild the city. Okay, now he says, God has told him, Nebuchadnezzar is going to come up and destroy the city, and God say, if uno don't go with Jeremiah, if uno not go with Nebuchadnezzar, he might go slay uno by the sword and the famine and pestilence. God said, if he tell uno say uno must go with Jeremiah, with Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is his servant. How comes the Israeli God is suddenly considering Nebuchadnezzar to be his servant when the same God is so angry that the children of Israel has worshipped the God of Nebuchadnezzar, the same God that Nebuchadnezzar worshipped? Why would it be that now he plans to punish the people by sending them into captivity, into Babylon, by orchestrating it? Because he says here that I am the one. He says, I am the one who orchestrated that for y'all to be taken captive into Babylon. Why would slavery be the punishment from God? Why would God be so determined to make the people feel his ultimate wrath that he himself was going to surrender his own values and send the people off for his enemy to enact his judgment on his people? The same people he said he was leading into this land of milk and honey, so that he will be their God and they will be his people, all because the people them sin. It is not adding up. It is not making sense. There is no logic in it. But then again, Jeremiah says God told him to tell all the countries round about, all the surrounding countries, God told him to tell these kings that they need to surrender, give up their throne and their country to Nebuchadnezzar? Really? And then all the remnants of Israel, all the few people who are left over, Nebuchadnezzar will take them in. And Jeremiah says, God told him to tell the people to get comfortable in Babylon. Get comfortable. you know, build houses down there, farm your gardens, allow Angie, what's up? Good morning, love bug. Allow the Babylonians to marry your children and allow your children to marry with the Babylonians. And I want y'all to stay down there and I will come and get you in 70 years. Why God want to come to get those people in 70 years when he just gave them instruction as some kind of a punishment for them to go to Babylon and to go serve Nebuchadnezzar and to not to stay separate from the Babylonians, mind you, but to assimilate in the Babylonian culture. Worship as the Babylonians worship. Do all these things, and then he will come back for them after 70 years. After 70 years, them not remember about you and those rules that you had given to Moses. After 70 years, if you think that their worship was against you now, imagine when you bring them back after 70 years. They're not going to remember the order of worship, the order of service. They're not going to remember the order of the sacrifices or anything. They're not going to remember. You basically send them there for the Israeli culture to die. That that's the only thing. If you say you're sending them for a punishment for your enemy, somebody who don't believe in you, who don't worship the way you expect the Israelites to worship, and you send your people under the management of this person, for this person to manage them for 70 years, you expect when they come back, they're coming back any better? They're coming back 10 times worse. So, I mean, all of this is questionable. And then to justify this, Jeremiah says, when they come back from after the 70 years, when God come to get them, to bring them back to rebuild Israel, the people are no longer going to sing praises to the God who brought them out of Egypt, but they are going to give thanks to the God who brought them out of all foreign lands and brought them back into Israel. Does that make sense? You want to change the history. Why? Because the history of the Israelites was always that they praised their God who brought their foreparents out of the land of Egypt and brought them into this land of milk and honey that the Lord had promised them. Now he don't want them to use that narrative anymore. He want them to say this is the God who has brought them from all over the world, from all these strange lands, brought them back together into Egypt. Why God gotta break down to build up? Why? God is in my idea of what a God is, he has the power and the authority to change minds, change action, to change anything he wants, to direct anything in the direction he wants. So why would it be that God got to break down? He got to destroy the Israelites. These are his people, you know. He got to destroy them just to rebuild Israel? To me, it leaves a lot of questions. And Jeremiah is telling on the whole thing, but people are not reading. People are not really picking up what Jeremiah is putting down, because all the people them saying, all you people doing is just using some little one verses from Jeremiah. You're not reading the whole story. I know you from before you were formed in your mother's womb and all them things what Jeremiah say. All those are the catchphrases that Jeremiah put down. You all pick up. But to not read the full story, to acknowledge what exactly Jeremiah is saying. Because if you do, you would have questions. You would have questions, just like me. You would have questions. But It is what it is. I'm going to continue with the reading. For those of you who were here yesterday, we read up to chapter 32, and today we are going to start with chapter 33 in the book of Jeremiah. So you can follow with me, if you all have your Bibles, you can follow along. Yeah. And let us continue. Let us continue with the reading. All right. Let us begin. Wait, I want to say I have enough light. I still not have enough. All right, let's do this. Jeremiah chapter 33. Moreover, moreover, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah. All right, here comes the Lord coming to Jeremiah again. This is the second time. It says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah the second time while he was yet in prison. So this is the second time while he's in prison. The Lord came to him and said, thus saith the Lord, the maker thereof, the Lord that formed it, to establish it. The Lord is his name. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which you know not. For thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, concerning the houses of this city, and concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which are thrown down by the which are thrown down by the mounts and by the sword. They come to fight with the Chaldeans, but it is to fill them with the dead bodies of men, whom I have slain in mine anger and in my fury. God, this attack, Okay? This is supposedly the Lord speaking. The Lord says to Jeremiah, he says, thus saith the Lord, the maker thereof, the Lord that formed it, to establish it. The Lord is his name. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things, which you know not. For thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, concerning the houses of this city, and concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which are thrown down by the mounts and by the sword. They come to fight with the Chaldeans, but it is to fill them with the dead bodies of men, whom I, whom I have slain in mine anger and in my fury. Me tell me say God extend more anger and fury on these people than love, grace, and forgiveness. And for all whose wickedness I have hidden my face from this city. Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. All right, after I'm kill them off, he's going to reveal to them the abundance of peace and truth. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first. So he's saying he's going to bring them back from Babylon, and he's going to build them back up just like they were built up before. My question still remains as to why God feel like him did have to slaughter so many of them. Why did he feel like it was necessary to slaughter the people and orchestrated for them to go into captivity for him to change what was going on in Israel that he didn't like? I Don't know why he felt like he had to do that, but let us continue. He says he's going to build them again just like at the first. And I will cleanse them for all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me. And I will pardon all their iniquities, whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise, and an honor before all the nations of the earth, which shall hear all the good that I do unto them. And they shall fear and tremble for all the goodness, and for all the prosperity that I procure unto them, unto it. Thus saith the Lord. Again, there shall be heard in this place, which ye say shall be desolate without man and without beast, even in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem, that are desolate, without man, and without inhabitant, and without beast. The voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of them that shall say, Praise the Lord of hosts. For the Lord is good, for his mercy endures forever. And of them that shall bring the sacrifice of praise into the house of the Lord. For I will cause to return the captivity of the land as at the first, said the Lord. Remember, Jeremiah said the Lord said this now. Okay, he's going to cause the people He's going to cause the people to return from captivity. And for those of you who don't know the captivity they are in Babylon, being held captives by Nebuchadnezzar. All right. He says here, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, again in this place which is desolate, without man and without beasts, and in all the cities thereof shall be an inhabitation of shepherds, causing their flocks to lie down. In the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the valley, and in the cities of the south, and in the land of Benjamin, and in the places round about Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah, shall the flocks pass again under the hands of him that tells them, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will perform that good thing which I have promised unto the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. In those days and at that time will I cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land. In those days shall Judah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the name wherein she shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. For thus saith the Lord, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel, neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings, and to kindle meat offerings, and to do sacrifice continually. Now, when you hear that what Jeremiah say, now remember, yesterday when we were reading, Jeremiah, Kadoy, what's up? Jeremiah said, God told him that there's going to be a new covenant for the people when they return to Israel. And that, my friends, was another thing that I found to be quite questionable. Remember, if we are working with what we have been taught about this God, is that he changes not. His words are forever. Whatever he says one time, he got to say it. He never changes his mind because he knows what is happening, what has happened, and what will happen because he's orchestrating everything and he does not change. Change the operative word here. He does not change. Now tell me, if God does not change, and I am to believe that God don't change his mind because of all the powers he got no need to. Why would Jeremiah say God told him that the new people gonna have a new covenant? Why would they need a new covenant? What was wrong with the covenant that was given to Moses? Why would God need to change how the people worshipped him? You don't find anything questionable about that. If God was a man of his word and God never changed, there would be no reason for there to be a new covenant. The people would have to continue with the first covenant because that would have been God's final word. The first covenant that Moses said God give to him, and God said it was supposed to be for them for generations, for as long as time lasts. Wanna know why? Wanna know why? Because none of this is true. Because none of this is true. None of this is made for me or anybody to adhere to be stuck with. It was not meant for any of us to be stuck with. Because as you read along, you realize you cannot keep up. It is not possible. Even in the Bible, they could not keep up. The people could not keep up with what was being presented to them as the expectations of how they should carry out their daily life. Moreover, their divine life, their religious life. The people could not keep up. And I believe that the people realized over the hundreds of years that they have been practicing what Moses had presented to them. The people have realized, my God, we have been duped. There's absolutely no way we can continue with all these sacrificing of animals, and there's no way. This is not sustainable. And so the people just started saying, you know what? Me done with this foolishness. Look, this not making no sense. So that's why the people started to go away, to move away from the doctrine because it wasn't sustainable. It didn't make sense to them. And even the modern day leaders of Israel, it wasn't making sense to them either. So they were not as diligent as their foreparents in ensuring that the people carried out this doctrine because people were starting to wise up. People were starting to ask questions like, what's the relevance of this? You know, look at it. All the people around us, they don't have to do all these things, but yet, when you look at the people over there in Tisna and the people over there in all these other countries, they are prosperous. They are wealthy people. And they don't follow all of this. They don't follow all of this doctrine. So, which God do they worship that's causing them to have all this prosperity? I want some of that. I want some of that. Because this God that we are following, what are we getting? Those were the questions of the people. Like, what is the benefit for us? Every day we get damnation, every day we get punishment. Why it seems as though our God hates us. God, let him cook. I appreciate you, sugar. Yeah, the people were starting to ask questions like, why does it seem like our God hates us? Because he is not doing for us what we expected. But look at the people around us. Look how their God is ensuring that they prosper, but not us. So the people over time, the people abandon this stuff. So now, Georgia said, I often wonder why is it that the people who are Christian always suffer the most. That that too, Georgette. Listen, a lot of times that them want themselves to suffer. A lot of times that them want themselves to suffer. Why they want themselves to suffer? Because to them, suffering, if you noticed, if you will notice that in churches, look around right now at these mega churches and you will see how pastor nice and rich. How pastor they have a grand old life and the people in the church are what barefoot, the people in the church poor, but the people them still have got show their offering. People believe that poverty brings them closer to this God. Remember they say it's easier for camel go to needle eye than for rich man go to heaven. But them not look and see them not look and see how rich their pastor is. Them not look and see how rich their pastor is and that their pastor and them claim that they are all going to heaven, right? But they are poor and pastor is rich, but pastor claim he going and they claim they going too. But they will still tell you it's easier for a camel to go through the half a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. So people wear this poverty like a badge of honor. And I'm like, why? You come to this earth to live this one life. Why you want to live it in destitution and then claim that when you die, there is this richness that awaits you? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bushes. If you are in this life, make the best of this life. Because nobody has come back from the dead to tell you how it is over there. So I don't know you're going to give up what you already have for what you don't have, what you have never seen anybody else with, that you are not sure exists, but you're going to give up reality for a fantasy? Make it make sense. You gonna give up reality for a fantasy? Makes absolutely no sense to me. But you can't tell some Christians that. You can't tell some people that because you tell them that you are devil, you are Eden, you are all kinds of things. You say, my heaven is on earth. I'm living. That is what I say every day. This is my heaven. This life here. When I die, I do not expect this biological matter to come back. This biological matter here shall dissolve into the ground or ashes or whatever. You're going to wait for some time else when you die to live your life, or you're going to live when you die. You are so right, my love. But you can't tell these people this. Now, my question is with Jeremiah, why did God have a need to change the covenant for his people if the covenant from the beginning was true and authentic and it was the best thing that he had come up with for his people? Why did he have to change? It should not have had to be changed if it was true. If God had designed it this way that his people should live by this covenant, God shouldn't have to change his mind. Why God would change his mind? Okay? That is my prevailing question. And I get no answer. There are so many times in the Bible where God changed his mind. I'm going to say, God just making a mockery of everything according to the Bible. Because he shouldn't have to change his mind back and forth. He should do one word, one law. This is what I say. I say from now on, everybody needs to sacrifice animal and all these things. When them sin, they become sacrifice for redemption, forget redemption. Now Jeremiah say, God say, him no longer go want them to sacrifice animal. Him not go want them for blood sacrifice and all this. The covenant is going to change. It is no longer that somebody can sacrifice an animal for you. Every tub go sit down on them own bottom. So why God never established that from morning, so every tub sit down on their own bottom? Because remember when we read Job last week, Job never believed that. Job believed the doctrine that was taught to him, that him can sit down on the bottom for his children. Then remember Job said to maintain his righteousness, he got up every single morning and sacrificed so much animals for any sins that he thought his children would have committed. He sacrificed animals on their behalf, so as to get forgiveness for them. Now Jeremiah say, God say, every tub I got sit down on them one bottom, everybody is going to be responsible for their own sacrifices, for their own sins. But anyway, I'm reading it from the Bible. I'm not taking it out of the air, people. So let us continue with what Jeremiah say. Verse 12, thus said the Lord of hosts, again in this place which is desolate, without man and without beast, and in all the cities thereof, shall be an habitation of shepherds, causing their flocks to lie down. In the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the valley, and in the cities of the north, of the south, and in the land of Benjamin, and in the places about Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah, shall the flocks pass again under the hands of him that tells them, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will perform that good thing which I have promised unto the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. In those days and at that time will I cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land. In those days shall Judah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the same wherewith she shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. For thus saith the Lord, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. All right, can we go back to where he said not to? All right, hold on there. Let me mark it so I there before I forget. All right. Where you say you want us to go back to, Love Bug? Can we go back to where he said not to? Not to what? Not for the sacrifice. Let me read it again. Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings, and to kindle meat offerings, and to do sacrifice continually. This is Jeremiah 33 and verse 18. Is that the one you wanted, my love? And the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah, saying, thus saith the Lord, if he can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that there should not be day and night in their season. Is that where you wanted me to go back to, God? Modest in the place. Modest, good morning, Kadoy. Oh, that's where you wanted me to go back. Okay, let me read it again then. I was waiting for you to respond. Let's read it again. It says, Verse 17, for thus saith the Lord, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifice continually. And the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah, saying, thus saith the Lord, if he can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that them should and that there should not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. As the host, as the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured, so will I multiply the seed of David my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, considerest thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord hath chosen, the two families? Which two families the Lord chosen, God? Consider thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord hath chosen, he hath even cast them off. Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Which two families that in chose, God? Right there, so they stump me. The Lord chose four. Me have to go look that up. The Lord chose two families. Me don't know which two families that people. Me don't know which two families that Jeremiah talk about. Jeremiah lie like us to get up a pastor. Me don't know which two families that him a talk about. But let us continue reading and see if we get some insight into which two families he says God says he's chosen. He says the two families which the Lord hath chosen, he hath even cast them off. So God has even cast off those two families that he has chosen. Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Where you say Ephraim and Manasseh? Maybe, oh, me not know. Somebody say if I Israel and Judah. Because Judah would be the cities, would be a city in Israel. Me not know. Me not know either could be true. But let us continue reading and see. Thus saith the Lord, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. Um, hmm. A bunch of questions right there, for which me not have the answer. Me don't know. I honestly don't know what just went on here, but me I go read it again. Jeremiah said, God said to him in verse 24, considerest thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord hath chosen, he hath even cast them off? Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Thus saith the Lord, if my covenant is not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cast their captivity. I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. Let us continue. Me not understand why God would have say him no want descendants of David to come rule over the children of Israel. Me not get it, because isn't it that that's the order of succession for leadership, for being the ruler? They rule, your father die, you rule, the son rule. And we have noticed that there have been there have been several breaks. There have been several breaks in that order, because several Israeli kings have died before having children. God, didn't Ahaz die before he had children? And Jehoshaphat, who was king of Judah at the time. Ahaz was king of Israel. Jehoshaphat was king of Judah. Isn't it that Ahaz, if I remember correctly, Ahaz didn't have any children when he died, and so Jehoshaphat's son was made to rule over Israel. So that was one of those times when that order was broken. And I'm sure it has happened several times after that. What she says, yes, that would have been Israel the north and Judah the south. Okay, understood. All right, so Kad is saying it would have been like Israel in the north and Judah in the south. That could be plausible. But let us continue. Yeah, Georgette said Israel and Judah. So God is agreeing with you, Georgette. Let us continue. We're on to chapter 34. The word which came unto Jeremiah from the Lord when Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon and all his army and all the kingdom of the earth of his dominion and all the people fought against Jerusalem and against all the cities thereof, saying, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, Go and speak to Zedekiah, king of Judah, and tell him that the Lord says, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall burn it with fire. All right. And thou shalt not escape out of his hand, but shall surely be taken and delivered into his hand. And thine eyes shall behold the eyes of the king of Babylon, and he shall speak with thee mouth to mouth, and thou shalt go to Babylon. Now remember, now Jeremiah, now like Zedekiah, I know, because remember, say Zedekiah have a lot of questions for him. So they put him in a prison and say all this doctrine that he's teaching is nonsense. So Jeremiah, not like them, but Jeremiah's weapon against them is that Jeremiah has claimed that he is the supreme prophet that is talking to God personally. So I guess the people are conflicted. Do they need Jeremiah around, or do they really need to slay him? Jeremiah said if they slay him, the God of his God is going to slay them back. So the people are nervous. But he don't like Zedekiah, for Zedekiah been put him in prison. So now he's prophesying that Nebuchadnezzar is going to come up and he's going to take Zedekiah. into Babylon. He says, "Yet hear the word of the Lord, O Zedekiah, king of Judah. Thus said the Lord of thee, thou shalt not die by the sword, but thou shalt die in peace." All right. This is what the Lord tell Jeremiah to tell Zedekiah. "Thou shalt die in peace, and with the burnings of thy fathers, the former kings which were before thee. So shall they burn odors for thee, and they will lament thee, saying, O Lord, for I have pronounced the word, saith the Lord." Then Jeremiah the prophet spake all these words unto Zedekiah, king of Judah, in Jerusalem. When the king of Babylon's army fought against Jerusalem and against all the cities of Judah that were left, against Lachish and against Azekah, for these defenced cities remained of the cities of Judah. Okay, so only those two cities remained intact from the onslaught. Only these two cities remained, Lachish and Azekah. This is the word that came unto Jeremiah from the Lord. After that, the king Zedekiah had made a covenant with all the people which were at Jerusalem to proclaim liberty unto them, that every man should let his manservant and every man his maidservant, being a Hebrew or a Hebrewess, go free, that none should serve himself of them, to wit of a Jew his brother. Now when all the princes and all the people which had entered into the covenant heard that every one should let his manservant and every one should let his maidservants go free, that none should serve themselves of them any more, then they obeyed and let them go. All right, so this is what I think where Jeremiah prophesied. This is what I think that Jeremiah prophesies to the people them. You're sure Jeremiah signal is not distorted? That listen. You say me sure Jeremiah signal is not distorted. Listen. But by me reading what all these things that Jeremiah say God tell him, I have so many questions. And because I know I won't be able to get the answers to these questions, I just chalk it down to Jeremiah is lying. Jeremiah is making up this story. Jeremiah is experiencing these ideas of grandeur, and because of this, remember, Jeremiah elevated himself. Jeremiah has elevated himself to this position. And now Jeremiah has everybody confused. Because what Jeremiah is telling the people that God is telling him to tell the people, it is in total contrast to what the people are accustomed to. So that's why Zedekiah asked him, who did I make you into this great prophet? How come the things what you telling us is not in alignment with what we have known to be true in Israel all along? So what is going on? So the people them confused. Should we follow what we have been taught from the doctrine that's coming down from Moses, or should we now abandon that doctrine and now do as Jeremiah is saying? The people them confused. Wouldn't you be? Because all of a sudden you see your doctrine is changing right in front of your eyes. If you should believe Jeremiah, then you have to abandon what your foreparents taught you. And a lot of people don't like to abandon what they have been taught traditionally, because if they do, it's going to seem like a betrayal to their foreparents and to their culture. So here Jeremiah telling the people them one whole different set of stuff that he says God has told him to tell the people. All right. We are going to continue. And Jeremiah says in verse 11 of chapter 34, but afterward they turned and caused the servants and the handmaids whom they had to let go free to return, and brought them into subjection for servants and for handmaids. Therefore the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondsmen, saying, at the end of 7 years, let ye go every man his brother a Hebrew, which hath been sold unto thee. And when he hath served thee 6 years, thou shalt let him go free from thee. But your fathers hearkened not unto me, neither inclined their ear. Uno don't make me laugh. Yes, so they were keeping up the traditions that were handed down to them. But now Jeremiah is telling them that that tradition, those traditions that they were upholding, were not true, were not right. See him say here, so in verse 14, him say, let me read it for you. At the end of 7 years, Jeremiah is saying, God say, the servants that these people are having, after 6 years, in the seventh year, they are supposed to let the servants go. They are supposed to set them free. AG, what's up? They are supposed to set them free after 7 years. And he said, God tell him that he had told Moses this from back then, but they did not abide by it. Listen again. Let me read it again. Let me read it again for y'all. At the end of 7 years, let ye go every man his brother a Hebrew, which hath been sold unto thee. And when he hath served thee 6 years, thou shalt let him go free from thee. But your fathers hearkened not unto me, neither inclined their ear. So I must say, the ancient people, them never did abide by those rules. Let us continue. And he were now turned, and had done right in my sight, in proclaiming liberty every man to his neighbor. And he had made a covenant before me in the house which is called by my name. But he turned and polluted my name, and caused every man his servant, and every man his handmaid, whom he had set at liberty at their pleasure, to return, and brought them into subjection, to be unto you for servants and for handmaids. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, he have not hearkened unto me in proclaiming liberty, every one to his brother, and every man to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim a liberty for you, saith the Lord, to the sword, to the pestilence, and to the famine, and I will make you to be removed into the kingdom of the earth. And I will give the men that have transgressed my covenant, which have not performed the words of the covenant which they had made before me, when they cut the calf in twain, that's in two, in half, and passed between the paths thereof. Awekade. The princes of Judah and the princes of Jerusalem, the eunuchs and the priests, and all the people of the land, which passed between the paths of the calf. Caro, I don't remember reading that the part of the story where them cut one calf in a two and the people got to walk between the two halves of the calf. But apparently that was supposed to be some kind of an ancient tradition. Apparently. Let's read verse 20. I will even give them into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of them that seek their life, and their dead bodies shall be for meat unto the fowls of the heaven and the beasts of the earth. And Zedekiah king of Judah and his princes will I give into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of them that seek their life, and into the hand of the king of Babylon's army, which are gone up from you. Behold, I will command, saith the Lord, and cause them to return to this city, and they shall fight against it, and take it, and burn it with fire. And I will make the cities of Judah a desolation without an inhabitant. Again, Jeremiah? Again? No, sir. Jeremiah hates Zedekiah with a perfect hatred. And Jeremiah is doing everything he can. He's doing everything he can to get rid of Zedekiah. Everything he can. And his Jeremiah is not easy. Let me continue with chapter 35. The word which came unto Jeremiah from the Lord in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, saying, Go unto the house of the Rechabites, and speak unto them, and bring them into the house of the Lord, into one of the chambers, and give them wine to drink. All right. Let me see what's this wine business. Why God I go tell Jeremiah to give the people them wine for drink. Go into the house of the Rechabites and speak unto them, and bring them into the house of the Lord, into one of the chambers, and give them wine to drink. Then I took Jezaniah, the son of Jeremiah. Now, this must be one different Jeremiah. Because if you're not following the story, remember, Jeremiah said God tell him not to have no wife and no children because of all the destruction that was going to befall Israel. You know what? No destruction to befall him. So he shouldn't have any wife and kids. Now in chapter 35, I'm sure it must be talking about a different Jeremiah. It says, Then I took Jezaniah, the son of Jeremiah, the son of Abazinia, and his brethren, and all his sons, and the whole house of the Rechabites. So, the Rechabites, awekade, that would have be, I don't think it would be Malchijah. Not Malchijah ben Rechab. Because Malchijah ben Rechab lived during the time when oh my goodness, when Nehemiah, he lived in the time when Nehemiah had been sent by King Artaxerxes to rebuild Jerusalem. So it wouldn't be that those wouldn't be the Rechabites they're talking about. Would be a different set. God changed the covenant so him let Jeremiah get children. Well, well, me don't know. Me don't know. Yes, God, Nehemiah. That was the name I was trying to remember. Me don't know in a Georgia, to be honest with you. Me don't know, but we're going to continue because it does say here that this Jezaniah, the son of Jeremiah, this Jeremiah was the son of Abazinia. And the Jeremiah that we are reading about, I don't know if him father that. So this now would have be one different Jeremiah. But let us continue reading it and see what we come up with. Because for some reason this is eluding me. This part of the story is eluding me. Let us continue. He says, Then I took Jezaniah, the son of Jeremiah, the son of Abazinia, and his brethren, and all his sons, and the whole house of the Rechabites. And I brought them into the house of the Lord, into the chamber of the sons of Anan, the son of Igdaliah, a man of God, which was by the chamber of the princes, which was above the chamber of Maaseiah, the son of Shallum, the keeper of the door. Yes, so I want different Jeremiah. And I set before the sons of the house of the Rechabites pots full of wine and cups, and I said unto them, drink the wine. But they said, we will not drink wine. For Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, he shall drink no wine, neither you nor your sons, forever. Neither shall he build house, nor sow seed, nor plant vineyard, nor have any. But all your days he shall dwell in tents, that he may live many days in the land where he be strangers. Thus have we obeyed the voice of Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, in all that he hath charged us, to drink no wine for all our days, we, our wives, our sons, nor our daughters, nor to build houses for us to dwell in. Neither have we vineyard, nor field, nor seed. But we have dwelt in tents, and have obeyed, and done according to all that Jonadab our father commanded us. Why is it that Jeremiah set out now to terrorize this set of people? I'm not sure what is the significance of Jeremiah terrorizing this particular family, saying God tell him to carry them going to the chamber, go make them drink wine. These clearly these people, they live a different lifestyle. They say according to their tradition, they don't drink wine, they don't plant. Apparently, they don't make wine. They don't make wine, they don't plant wine grapes, and they don't drink wine. They don't make houses to live in. They are nomads. They just move around building tents and moving from place to place. So why Jeremiah no? Why God would have target these people and tell Jeremiah to go tell these people to come in the chamber, come drink wine? When he know that traditionally their tradition don't allow them to. What's going on here? Make we continue. But it came to pass, when Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon came up into the land, that he said, come, and let us go to Jerusalem, for fear of the army of the Chaldeans, and for fear of the army of the Syrians. So we dwell at Jerusalem. Then came the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, go and tell the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, will ye not receive instructions to hearken to my words, saith the Lord? The words of Jonadab the son of Rechab, that he commanded his sons not to drink wine, are performed. For unto this day they drink none, but obey their father's commandment. Notwithstanding, I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye hearkened not unto me. Was this supposed to be like a lesson? Was it supposed to be like a temptation for the sons of Jonadab? I think this was supposed to be some kind of test for them. So now here God is comparing his people to the sons of Jonadab. He's saying, look at it. Jonadab tell his sons they should never drink wine, and they have never drunk wine. And I give you all instructions you all don't follow. So what is it? Jonadab, an ordinary man, has more power than me, or more credibility than me? I must that gotta say. Let me see what God said. God, if you read Psalms 20. Psalms full of songs and poems, Not really a story. But let me hear what it say. Psalm 20 verse 1. Read a psalm if you in a distress, and read a psalm if you want progress. Psalm 20 verse 1 say, the Lord hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the God of Jacob defend thee. You sure say that in the one if you read? Send thee help from the sanctuary and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings and accept their burnt sacrifice. Me not think of that you want me to read, cause that not sound like it have any connection to what we are read. Oh, Proverbs. Oh, okay, read Job, Psalms, and Proverbs. Ecclesiastes, Job, Psalms, and Proverbs. Proverbs what? Proverbs 20 verse 1. Alright, can't have read Proverbs 20 verse 1. Make us see what we get out of this. Out of Proverbs 20 and verse 1. Oh, wine is a mocker strong. Wine is a mocker strong drink is raging, and he who is deceived is not wise. So therefore, what name? What the man did? Jonadab, Jonadab. So Jonadab was instructing his sons in the right path. But remember, so the Israelite them drink like wine, you know. The Israelite them drink wine. But Jonadab instructed his son, said, don't put it on the mouth. Do not drink it at all. So now God begs, because Jonadab's son them obey him and his people not obey. His people are not obeying him. God not like that at all. But it came to pass when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up into the land that we said, come and let us go to Jerusalem for fear of the army of the Chaldeans and for fear of the army of the Syrians. So we dwell in Jerusalem. Then came the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah, saying, thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, go and tell the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, will ye not receive instructions to hearken to my words? The words of Jonadab the son of Rechab, that he commanded his sons, but obey their father's commandment. Notwithstanding, I have spoken unto you. I have risen up early in the morning and speak unto you, but you hearken not unto me. I have sent also unto you all my servants, the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, return ye now every man from his evil way, and amend your doings, and go not after other gods to serve them. And ye shall dwell in the land which I have given to you and to your fathers. But ye have not inclined your ears, you have not hearkened unto me, because the sons of Jonadab got jealous. Shala, what's God is jealous. God is envious of the loyalty that Jonadab has been from his sons. And God said, look at that, Isa. Look at that. Jonadab has been able to convince his sons to not drink wine. He has been able to convince them to do what he says to do. And look at me. I get up early in the morning, I put somebody to preach to you late at night, to tell you not to do this, to not to do that, and you don't listen. You don't have no respect for me. That's exactly what God is saying. And God is why would God be comparing himself to an ordinary man? He now have the authority and all the power, can convert whoever he wants to convert. Why would he be jealous of the influence of an ordinary man? Me not get it. But I know me say it, and the Bible say it. It say, because the sons of Jonadab, the son of Rechab, have performed the commandment of their father, which he commanded them. But this people have not hearkened unto me. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring upon Judah and upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem all the evil. No, sir. Enough funny. Enough funny. Excuse me, my dear people. It's not funny, but me I feel laugh. So let me get this straight. So God tell Jeremiah to go tempt this set of people, Jonadab's tribe, Jonadab's descendants, Jonadab's people. Jeremiah knows that these people do not partake of wine at all. Them no plant wine, grapes, nothing. So Jeremiah now said God told him to go entice these people with wine, bring them into the chambers of the sanctuary, and offer them wine. No, follow me straight, Jeremiah said, God tell him this. Offer these people wine, knowing fully darn well that these people do not partake of wine. Now, when the people reject him and say, no, that's not for us. We don't drink wine. Our fathers and forefathers discouraged us from drinking wine, and we don't drink it. We don't build houses. We live in tents and we move from place to place. This is our lifestyle. We don't drink wine. Now, God vex and comparing himself to Jonadab and saying, look at it doing, sir. Jonadab's descendants are following everything he says. They are adhering to the laws that were laid down by their father. And look at me. Poor me. I talk to you all day and night. I give you all instructions day and night. And you no follow it. So don't know what me I go do. Watch me I go and burn this bitch down. No, sir. No, sir. This cannot be real. It cannot be. So, so now, God get mad. And him gonna now swing his power around and burn up the people them because they are not serving him. But I was taught that God do not deceive people. So how come he planned with Jeremiah to deceive them? Exactly. Exactly. And from the beginning of the reading of Jeremiah, we see where appear deception. Because remember, Jeremiah said God tell him to go call back the people them and tell them to come rebuild Jerusalem, And in the same breath, Jeremiah said God tell him. So when the people them come back, he's so angry at them. He's so mad at them for them having go worship other gods that when they come back, he's going to, my God, sorry people, he's going to ensure that they be destroyed. He's going to make the enemy come up, come slay them by the sword. Who not get slayed by the sword, going to get slain by pestilence and famine. And he's going to make the women be widows and lose their children. And him said that's why that's when he says God told him he shouldn't have no wife and no children. So because God don't want him to suffer any of this destruction that he's planning for the children of Israel, God told him, don't have wife, don't have children, because when these people come back, I'm going to make this place going to be filled with widows. This place going to be filled with dead bodies. Children going to be dying left and right. Parents going to be mourning for their children. Wives are going to have no husbands. So you know better have no wife and no children. Come no want that will happen to you. Seriously. Let us continue. Let us continue. Now God is upset. According to Jeremiah, God is upset. Say Jonadab was able to have his people believe what he told them and follow it for generation and generation, and him, God, is not able to influence the people with all the power that he has. The gods that he sent them to worship. All right. Remember him saying, I send them down to Babylon, I make Nebuchadnezzar. He's making Nebuchadnezzar. He's orchestrating this capture of the people, this breaking down of Israel. Him take credit for it, him pat himself on the shoulder several times and say he is responsible for this, for the people them to go down there, to go worship other gods. So I don't know how we're going to orchestrate for the people to be taken into Babylon, where for sure they are going to be worshiping Babylonian gods. How would he expect that these same people was going to continue to worship him? It makes absolutely no sense. They were not going to continue living by the words that were sent to them, given to them, and therefore parents by Moses. But let us continue. God said, I'm going to burn the place down because the people can't obey Jonadab and they not obey him. But let me read verse 9 again. And it came to pass in the 5th, the right place as I'm married, right? In the right place this married. No, sir. In the right place this. Verse 17. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring upon Judah and upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem all the evil that I have pronounced against them, because I have spoken unto them, but they have not heard, and I have called unto them, but they have not answered. And Jeremiah said unto the house of the Rechabites, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, because ye have obeyed the commandment of Jonadab your father, and kept all his precepts, and done according unto all that he hath commanded you. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Jonadab the son of Rechab shall not want a man to stand before me forever. If I laugh, I drop off of the bed. Listen to me, people. Listen. This is, I'm going to say it the same way how I feel it. This God here of the Bible, the one thing, this really Ben Reek. Exactly, God, you know what you are talking about. Yes, this Ben Rehab. What I find this God of the Bible to be very good at is not just whining about what the people them now do to appease him and be very vengeful. Those are the things that I find him to be very good at. Because if you say God have control over the people's minds and God have the authority and the power and him can change your mind, he is supposed to be able to change the people's minds towards him. The people should be able to have full control of their mind so that they can reject him, so that he can be mad and whine about it and get vexed and burn them up. And he can control the animals, to send the animals to come eat the people. If he send him enemy to come slay the people with sword. But he can't control the people's mind to turn their minds from the quote-unquote their wicked ways and turn towards him. How comes? And his punishment for them is to burn them up. It is so confusing. It's like, where is the power of this biblical God? His power only seems to come about with destruction. Well, this God that is portrayed in the Bible, isn't that the God I got to go by? Because they say to me, read the Bible, Trev, read the Bible. So what is in the Bible? That is, if I say that is what I got to go by, I really have to ask these questions out loud. Why would the God of the Bible be so petty? Why would he be so whiny like a petulant child? How comes, why would he be worried like, how comes a ordinary man is able to get his sons to obey him? But look at me. I send somebody to preach to you all day and night, morning and evening, and you all don't obey me. But look at it. Jonadab is able to have his sons and their sons to obey him. You see, he told them not to drink wine, and generation after generation, you can't even tempt them, not even in the temple. You can't tempt them to drink wine. But look at me, poor me. Oh my God. Listen, Mr. Man, me I go burn this shit. Me I go burn down everything. Me I go burn down. Me I go burn down what people are not gonna follow me. Like, seriously? Like, really, God? after God done ball about Jonadab, more fire. After God done ball about Jonadab, he said, I'm going to use him best form of revenge. Excuse me. He might go bring out him best form of revenge and burn down the people there. Listen. When I read this Bible here, when I read this Bible here, that's why you see, when I see people coming out and coming after me for reading the Bible, I know for goddamn sure they ain't read the Bible. Shala, what's up? Excuse me. Morning, Shala. How you doing, my love? Bless up your nice, clean self. Yeah. So God just dip in punishment bag and bring out the fire for burn up the people them. Why him couldn't convert their minds how we want them to? I don't know. But that's what I would be expecting. That he, because of his power and his authority, he would be able to turn their minds away from that which he does not want them to partake of and turn their minds to him. So clearly, he's not able to do that. Inshallah, thank you, my love. Clearly, God is not. You're just as clean, my love, with your ripped self, with your ripped abs. I see you. Yeah. So people. Yeah. So here, Jeremiah is on a mission. Him and his God is on a mission. They're both on a mission. We are going to continue. We are on to verse 36. Let's see what time of day now. All right, we can read 2 more. Okay, so Jeremiah chapter 36 now. Let's see what else happening here. And it came to pass in the 4th year of Joachim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, that the word came unto Jeremiah from the Lord. Remember, you what the Lord tell Jeremiah say again, saying, take thee a roll of a book, and write in it all the words that I have spoken unto you against Israel, and against Judah, and against all the nations, from the day I spake unto you, from the days of Josiah, even unto this day. So how comes God never did tell Jeremiah, where I say you did 2,000 sit-ups on my life? 2,000? You mean almost 200? 200 or 2,000? Boy, you're ripped, brother. And you're very dedicated. Good Lord. Good Lord. Poor me can't even do two. But respect, man. Respect to you. Let us continue. Chapter 36. And it came to pass in the 4th year of Joachim the son of Josiah king of Judah, that the word came unto Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Take thee a roll of a book, and write in it all the words that I have spoken unto you against Israel, against Judah, and against all the nations, from the day I spake unto you from the days of Josiah, even unto this day. Um, kinda easy. Yes, sir, overachiever. Yes, sir. Jeremiah the overachiever. Jeremiah said God tell him, saying, if you now write down everything, he should now write down everything that God had told him from many, many years ago. You can do 400 in one go. Oh, wow. Boy, you're strong. You're strong. You're powerful. You're great. I celebrate you. Believe me. Keep it up, my love. Keep it up. Good works. Okay, so Jeremiah said, God has told him now that he should get a book and he should write down all the things where God tell him from the time of Josiah. Because remember now we know it's Joachim who is the ruler now. Because Jeremiah's lifespan, it was, I don't remember how long he lived, but he lived through several Israeli kings. Mostly Josiah and Joachim, who was the son of Josiah. All right, so Jeremiah was alive during their reign. So he said, now God has told him that he should get a book and start writing down. Why God never tell him this from the beginning? He said, Jeremiah, I'm going to start use here, I'm going to want you to start write down everything when I'm going to tell you as time goes by. Well, here in the middle of the story, now when Joachim, the son of Josiah, is now the king of Israel, Jeremiah said God told him that he wants him now to get a book and to write down everything that God had told him, Jeremiah, from the time of Josiah the king. So Jeremiah now have to go back in our brain box to go remember everything that God has told him. So let's hear it. Jeremiah says God told him to go get a book and write down everything. He says, it may be that the house of Judah will hear all the evil I have proposed to do unto them, that they may return every man from his evil ways, that I may forgive their iniquity and their sin. Then Jeremiah called Baruch. I want you all to remember Baruch, because Baruch was the transcriber. Then Jeremiah called Baruch, the son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote from the mouth of Jeremiah all the words of the Lord, which he had spoken unto Jeremiah upon a roll of a book. And Jeremiah commanded Baruch, saying, I am shut up. I cannot go into the house of the Lord. Therefore you go and read the scroll which thou hast written from my mouth. These are the words of the Lord. Go and read it in the ears of the people in the Lord's house upon the day of fasting. And also thou shalt read them in the ears of all of Judah that came out of their cities. It may be they will present their supplication before the Lord, and will return everyone from his evil way. For great is the anger and the fury that the Lord hath pronounced against this people. And Baruch the son of Neriah did according to all that Jeremiah the prophet commanded him, reading in the book the words of the Lord in the Lord's house. And it came to pass in the 5th year of Joachim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, in the 9th month, that they proclaimed a fast before the Lord to all that they proclaimed a fast before the Lord to all the people in Jerusalem, and to all the people that came from the cities of Judah unto Jerusalem. Let us continue. Let us continue. And it came to pass in the 5th year of Joachim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, in the 9th month, that they proclaimed a fast before the Lord to all the people in Jerusalem, and to all the people that came from the cities of Judah unto Jerusalem. Hold on, I was just checking my charge there. Then Baruch read in the book the words of Jeremiah in the house of the Lord, in the chamber of Gemariah, the son of Shaphan the scribe, in the higher court, at the entry of the new gate of the Lord's house, in the ears of all the people. So Baruch went ahead, he followed Jeremiah's instructions, and he went ahead and read the scroll to the people in the chamber of Gemariah, different person. When Micaiah, the son of Gemariah, the son of Shaphan, had heard out of the book all the words of the Lord, then he went down into the king's house, into the scribe's chamber, and lo, all the princes sat there. All the princes sat there, even Elishama the scribe, and Deliah, the son of Shemaiah, and Elnathan, the son of Akbor, and Gemariah, the son of Shaphan, and Zedekiah, the son of Ananiah, and all the princes. Remember, so Jeremiah, Zedekiah, him hate the other people, them, but Zedekiah of all people, he hate with a passion. Because Zedekiah had openly questioned Jeremiah's authority. All right, let's move on. Then Micaiah declared unto them all the words that he had heard when Baruch read the book in the ears of the people. Therefore all the princes sent Jehudai, the son of Nethaniah, the son of Shelemiah, the son of Cushai, unto Baruch, saying, Take in thy hand that roll wherein thou hast read in the ears of the people, and come. So they sent Jehudai to go take this book from Baruch and bring it to them. So Baruch the son of Neriah took the roll in his hand and came unto them. And they said unto him, Sit down now and read it to us. So Baruch read it in their ears. Now it came to pass, when they had heard all the words, they were deathly afraid, both one and another, and said unto Baruch, We will surely tell the king of all these words. All right, so you know, say Jeremiah preached a lot of death and destruction, but all of it, him say, God told him that these are the things he was going to do to the people. So Baruch has written everything that Jeremiah has told him, and he's following Jeremiah's instructions. So Baruch goes and he reads out this scroll aloud to everybody. When the people hear all that's on the scroll, that Jeremiah said, God, tell him they're afraid. Because you know from what we have been reading that it is filled with death and destruction. So now they say, listen, listen, me hear Baruch read some things when say Jeremiah say God had told him and all these things. You don't want to hear it. Me can't tell you know what me hear, but if you hear it from Baruch on yourself, it will be something completely different. So them say, all right, go and go get Baruch, bring him come with that book that him have, and make we hear it. So Baruch came, and Baruch read the book for them. Now they are all afraid. They are all afraid because of all of this destruction that this God have planned for them. Let us continue. And they asked Baruch, saying, tell us now, how didst thou write all these words of his mouth? Then Baruch answered them, he pronounced all these words unto me with his mouth, and I wrote them with ink in the book. Then the princes said unto Baruch, go and hide yourself, you and Jeremiah, and let no man know where you are. And they went in to the king into the court, but they laid up the roll in the chamber of Elishama the scribe, and told all the words in the ears of the king. So the king sent Jehudi to fetch the scroll, and he took it out of Elishama the scribe's chamber. And Jehudi read it in the ears of the king, and in the ears of all the princes which stood before the king. Now the king sat in the winter house in the 9th month, and there was a fire on the hearth burning before him. And it came to pass that when Jehudi had read 3 or 4 pages, he cut it with the penknife and cast it into the fire that was on the hearth, until all the scroll was consumed by the fire. Yet they were not afraid, nor rent their garments, neither the king nor any of his servants that heard all the words. Nevertheless, Elnathan and Deliah and Gemariah had made intercession to the king that he would not burn the scroll, but he would not hear them. So they were begging the king, a penknife, yes, God, a penknife. Yes, ma'am. A penknife. That sounds modern, right? Mm-hmm. I thought about it as I read, but maybe the name penknife was taken from the ancient word, and the ones that we know now are just a modification of an ancient cutting tool that was called a penknife. Yeah. So he says, nevertheless, Elnathan and Deliah and Gemariah had made intercession to the king that he would not burn the scroll, but he would not hear them. But the king commanded Jeremiel, the son of Hamelech, and Sariah, the son of Azriel, and Shelemiah, the son of Abdiel, to take Baruch the scribe and Jeremiah the prophet, but the Lord hid them. Then the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah after that the king had burnt the scroll, and the words which Baruch wrote at the mouth of Jeremiah, saying, take thee again another roll, and write in it all the former words that were on the scroll that the king burnt. And thou shalt say to Joachim the king of Judah, Thus saith the Lord, Thou hast burnt this scroll, saying, Why hast thou written on it? Saying, The king of Babylon shall certainly come and destroy this land, and shall cause to cease from thence men and beasts. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, he shall have none to sit upon the throne of David, and his dead body shall be cast out in the day to the heat, and in the night to the frost. And I will punish him and his seed and his servants for their iniquity, and I will bring upon them and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem and upon the men of Judah all the evil that I have pronounced against them, but they hearkened not. Yes, ma'am. You call for Jesus. I know the Bible it say. I went on the Bible, and that we are work with. Let us continue. Excuse me, people. Hold on, why this I say that? Okay. Then took Jeremiah another scroll and gave it to Baruch, the scribe, the son of Neriah, who wrote on it from the mouth of Jeremiah all the words of the book which Jehoiakim the king had burnt in the fire, and there were added besides unto them many like words. So many more words Jeremiah added to the scroll. Jeremiah make up a whole heap more things and made the scroll to be more fearsome. More he made the scroll to be more deadly. So he added a lot more words to the scroll. Why Jeremiah need to add more words to the scroll? If he say he's writing what God tell him, enough he just write when he say God did tell him. But they say Jeremiah, he added many more words onto it. So apparently Jeremiah made the scroll more. Jeremiah made the scroll to be more deadly so the people would fear it even more. Jeremiah is on a mission of fear, a mission to instill fear in the people, death and destruction in the name of the Lord. Let us continue. We are going to read. Let me see what time now. I'm going to read one more chapter. We're going to read chapter 37. And King Zedekiah, the son of, hold on, and King Zedekiah, hold on there. Excuse me. Son of Josiah. Hold on, let me look for something here. So, wasn't there a Zedekiah in the previous story? Yeah. So is this another Zedekiah? Hold on there. So you see, people, that's why I'm saying in the Bible have different people who have the same name. So when you're reading the Bible, you have to know who them talking about. Because even in Jeremiah here, did you hear them talk about another Jeremiah? They did talk about another Jeremiah. That was not Jeremiah the prophet. Here they are talking about another Zedekiah. Now there is a Zedekiah, the son of Ananiah. All right. There is a Zedekiah. Let me make note of this one. There is a Zedekiah who is the son of Ananiah. And that is in chapter 36 and verse 12. And then there in chapter 37, they are talking about another Zedekiah who is the son of Josiah. Let me continue. And King Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, reigned instead of Coniah, the son of Joachim. Why didn't they allow Coniah to reign in the stead of his father Joachim? Let's continue. We don't know why, but we're gonna find out. And King Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, reigned instead of Coniah, the son of Joachim, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, made king in the land of Judah. So now it is no longer going by a succession, it is going by appointment. So King Nebuchadnezzar is now appointing who he wants to be king. So that is why Coniah did not ascend to the throne after his father Joachim, because now Nebuchadnezzar was in control and he's appointing his own, whoever he thinks should be appointed. He is appointing loyalists. Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar is appointing his loyalists to the throne of Judah instead of following the tradition where a son succeeds his father. Let us continue. And King Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, reigned instead of Coniah, the son of Joachim, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, made king in the land of Judah. But neither he nor his servants, nor the people of the land did hearken unto the words of the Lord, which he spake by the prophet Jeremiah. All right, them now listen to Jeremiah. And Zedekiah the king sent Jehukal, the son of Shelemiah, and Zephaniah, the son of Maaseiah, the priest, to the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Pray now unto the Lord your God for us. Now Jeremiah came in and went out among the people, for they had not put him in prison. So he wasn't in prison at this time. So he was able to go back and forth in and out. But now they go to him and say, Listen, pray to your God for us. Then Pharaoh's army was come forth out of Egypt. And when the Chaldeans that besieged Jerusalem heard tidings of them, they departed from Jerusalem. Then came the word of the Lord unto the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, Thus shall ye say to the king of Judah, that sent you unto me to inquire of me, Behold, Pharaoh's army, which is come forth to help you, shall return to Egypt into their own land, and the Chaldeans shall come again and fight against this city, and take it, and burn it with fire. Thus saith the Lord, Deceive not yourselves. Chaldeans shall surely depart from us, for they shall not depart. So here Jeremiah tell them, not deceive yourself into believing, so when the Chaldeans come, they are going to just burn down the place and then they're going to leave. They are not going to leave. They are going to own us. They're going to own this place. For though he had smitten the whole army of the Chaldeans that fight against you, and there remained but wounded men among them, yet should they rise up every man in his tent, and burn this city with fire. And it came to pass that when the army of the Chaldeans was broken up from Jerusalem for fear of Pharaoh's army, then Jeremiah went forth out of Jerusalem to go into the land of Benjamin, to separate himself thence in the midst of the people. And when he was in the gate of Benjamin, a captain of the ward was there, whose name was Erijah, the son of Shelemiah, the son of Ananiah. And he took Jeremiah the prophet, saying, Thou fallest away to the Chaldeans. Then said Jeremiah, That's a lie. I fall not away to the Chaldeans. But he hearkened not to him. So Erijah took Jeremiah and brought him to the princes. One of the things that Jeremiah left out of Judah. Somebody said, Have a great day, my dear. Gotta catch up. Catch you later. Okay, my love, you be safe now, my dear. Have yourself a great day. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your company. Have yourself a great day, my love. Why on the thing say Jeremiah chose to leave Jerusalem at that time when the Chaldeans were gonna come up there again to destroy it? Why on the think Jeremiah left? I have my suspicions. I think Jeremiah left just because he he didn't wanna die in that fighting. Jeremiah knew what was going to happen because I believe that Jeremiah was in communication with the Chaldeans. He was in communication with Nebuchadnezzar and his army. So Jeremiah knew what was going to happen. So he was taking himself out of the equation. And that is why Erijah asked him, why you here? Why you remove yourself from up there? You come down here because you want to avoid the war? Let me read it again. He says, and when he was in the gate of Benjamin, so Jeremiah went to Benjamin, that's where he's from, because remember, he's a descendant of the tribe of Benjamin. So he went back over to Benjamin. A captain of the ward was there, whose name was Erijah, the son of Shelemiah, the son of Ananiah. And he took Benjamin the prophet and said to him, Thou fallest away to the Chaldeans. Yeah. Then Jeremiah said to him, That's a lie. I fall not away to the Chaldeans. But he hearkened not to him. So Erijah took Jeremiah and brought him to the princes. Wherefore the princes were angry with Jeremiah, and they smote him and put him in prison in the house of Jonathan the scribe, for they had made that the prison. When Jeremiah entered into the dungeon and into the cabins, and Jeremiah had remained there for many days. Then Zedekiah the king sent and took him out, and the king asked him secretly, oh no, listen to that, secretly in his house. The king said to him, Is there any word from the Lord? And Jeremiah said, There is. For he said, Thou shalt be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So Zedekiah asked Jeremiah secretly, You get any word from the Lord recently? And Jeremiah said, Yes. The Lord said, You are going to be delivered into the hands of Babylon. Moreover, Jeremiah said unto the king Zedekiah, What have I offended against thee, or against your servant, or against this people, that ye have put me in prison? Where are now your prophets which prophesied unto you, saying, The king of Babylon shall not come against you, nor against this land? So, you don't hear that. So there are the prophets who are saying, no go so, no believe Jeremiah. No Babylon now come up here, come destroy we. And then there is Jeremiah saying, the Lord has told him that Babylon will come up and destroy Israel. So now Jeremiah saying to Zedekiah, why you ask me what the Lord say? Not ask me what the Lord tell me. Go ask your prophets who tell you, say, No Babylon ain't gonna come up here. Don't ask me anything. All right, let us continue. Moreover, Jeremiah said unto King Zedekiah, what have I done to offend thee that you should cast me into this prison? Where are your prophets now who prophesied unto you, saying, the king of Babylon shall not come up against you, nor against this land? Therefore, hear now, I pray thee, O my lord the king, let my supplication, I pray thee, be accepted before thee, that thou cause me not to return to the house of Jonathan the scribe, lest I die there. So here Jeremiah is begging Zedekiah, no send me back down there in the dungeon. Please me, I beg you. Don't send me back into the prison that is in Jonathan's house. Then Zedekiah the king commanded that they should commit Jeremiah into the court of the prison, and that they should give him daily a piece of bread out of the baker's street, until all the bread in the city were used up. Thus Jeremiah remained in the court of the prison. All right. Okay, so I want to hear that. Only hear that. So Jeremiah was put in prison. Now Zedekiah take him out to ask him what God say. But Zedekiah is keeping him in prison, just not in the prison that is inside of Jonathan's house. He's keeping him in a different prison. All right. We have come to the end of the reading for this morning, my dear friends. I want to say thanks to everybody who have come into the live. Those of you who have followed the live, I appreciate you all. Yeah, remember, I am only the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm only reading from the Bible, what is in the Bible. So I know a lot of you get upset when I read what is in the Bible because you all just can't believe that this is in the Bible. And just like I couldn't either. Originally, I could not believe it. I had to read it for myself and bring myself to believing that, well, if this is the book that is supposed to be my guide, I must read it. And I must, if I should believe, I must believe that what is in it, whether it be somebody deceiving somebody else, whether it be somebody slaughtering somebody else, whether it is somebody getting so upset that they can't control their anger, they gotta dispel it on everybody. Well, it is what is in the Bible. It is what it is. Okay? So with that, I'm going to run off, go get my day going. That's going to be it from me for this morning, my friends. Until next time, this is your girl Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. People, have yourselves a fantastic day, and I will see you all again sometime maybe later. All right? Have a good day, guys. See you all later. Oh, the card we will talk.